Hey dude, you really want to hear this? You've been sleeping while they're scheming, right? This isn't your usual self-help nonsense. No, this is raw, untamed truth. The stuff they hide from you, the stuff that makes the weak cringe and the bold roar. I'm talking secrets that will twist your brain, mess with your comfort zone, and make you rethink everything. You've been underestimated, ignored, pushed aside, and honestly, that's exactly why you're here. Because deep down, you feel it. The hunger, the fire, the chaos ready to explode inside you, right? Stick with me till the end. Watch every second. Comment below when you feel that surge, when your mind snaps awake. Trust me, this video isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who are awake, the ones who bite back, the ones who rise when everyone else falls. And yo, I gotta say this, shout out to you, the real ones. You've got the guts, the patience, the chaos in your veins. And this video is a tribute to that fire in you. Some secrets, some truths. They were never meant to touch your eyes, and yet, here you are, breathing them in, feeling the weight of what everyone else buried. The air tastes different when you know what they don't want you to know. It's sweet, it's sharp. They think they can cage knowledge. They think silence is protection. But silence is just a mirror. And in the mirror you see the cracks. You see the weak spots, the missteps, the lies strung together like cheap ornaments on a dead tree. And suddenly, the power isn't theirs. It's yours. All yours. And it hums in your chest like a pulse that can't be stopped. You feel it crawling under your skin. The thrill of being ahead of the rules, ahead of the watchers, ahead of the fools who applaud mediocrity. It's intoxicating. It's poisonous. But poison is a privilege if you can wield it. And you can, can't you? Every whispered secret becomes a weapon. Every glance behind your shoulder, a thrill. Every heartbeat, a drum that signals you're coming. What do you do with this kind of power? Some would hide, some would panic. But you lean in. You tilt your head. You listen to the hum of opportunity in the shadows. And it's smiling at you, waiting for your first move. Because the first move always sets the tone. And tone is everything. They don't even know yet that the game started. They never know. Fear? No. Fear is for the predictable, the obedient. You feel it? Yes. The slick taste of danger. The way it curls at the edges of thought and scratches at the walls of sanity. But fear is a canvas, and you paint in chaos. Every heartbeat, every pulse, every glance. Colors too bright to ignore, shadows too dark to hide. And when they finally see what you've done, it will be too late. Some call this madness. Some call it obsession. You call it clarity. Because clarity is a weapon. Because knowing what no one else can see feels like flying. And flying is the kind of freedom they will never give you. So you keep it close, keep it sharp, keep it dangerous. And when the silence breaks, when the first cracks appear in their perfect little world, you will be ready. You already are. Look closer. That reflection isn't who you thought you were. It's sharper, harsher, hungry. They told you who to be, told you where to stand, told you what to feel, and you obeyed. Once. But obedience is a cage, and cages are easy to burn. Can you see the cracks yet? The fractures they left in your bones, the little betrayals tucked into every word they smiled at you with. They laughed at your dreams, whispered over your shoulders while you fought to rise. They signed contracts in shadows, and you signed nothing. You kept your fire. You kept your edge. They didn't notice, couldn't notice. And that is your advantage, because advantage is power disguised. Power they will never recognize until it's too late. And when they finally realize, you won't be smiling. You will be laughing. Every betrayal is a lesson. Every knife in the back is a compass. Every dismissal, a map. You've been shown the weakness of the world, the fragility hiding under polite words and handshakes. And now, you hold the key to their fear, the key to turning every lie they told into fuel for your rise. Do you feel it? That spark in your chest? That laugh waiting in the throat? That chaos ready to spill? Anger is sweet, not the loud, messy kind, the quiet, precise kind, the one that sits behind your ribs and whispers strategy. You let it curl and coil until every nerve sings. You let it sharpen every thought, every glance, every word. You walk through the world wearing it like armor, and the armor burns when it touches them, because they underestimated the patient. They underestimated the quiet. And underestimation is delicious. You've been erased from their stories, brushed aside, dismissed, left to rot in the margins. But margins are dangerous places. They hide things, secrets, weapons, thoughts that fester and grow until they are no longer small, until they are monstrous. And monsters rewrite the rules. They don't wait for permission. They take, they bend, they destroy. And you are smiling at the edge of that power. Look again. That mirror isn't cruel. It's honest. It tells you what they tried to hide, tells you Aha, buddy. You're not here by accident. Nah, you felt that shift, didn't you? The world got quiet, too quiet. And when silence starts sounding loud, that's when truth's about to scream. They ordered an arrest, but never announced it. You're the last suspect, the one they couldn't predict, couldn't break, couldn't buy. Oh, the air's different tonight, heavy, electric, dangerous. They're watching you like a glitch they can't delete. And you know what's crazy? Every move you make shakes their comfort zones. Every breath you take reminds them you're not theirs to control. Yeah, they built the system, but you built the stamina. You turned their silence into your weapon. Oh yeah. If you've ever been blamed for what you didn't do, if you've ever been called too much, too real, too different, then this one's for you. You've been living proof that clarity threatens chaos. You've been walking through suspicion with your head held high, and they still can't figure out how. So to everyone watching right now, respect. You made it here. Through noise, through doubt, through whispers that wanted you gone. You're not the audience, you're the survivors, the thinkers, the untamed few who don't bow to fear. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let the world know you're awake. Because this isn't just a video, it's evidence. Evidence that you're still standing, that you're still seeing what they pretend not to. They signed your name before they even proved your crime. That's how it begins, doesn't it? Quietly. No alarms, no lights. Just a silent order whispered in a back room. Your name scribbled on a piece of paper. Your fate sealed in someone else's ink. They didn't need proof. They only needed fear. And you became the perfect suspect. The last one standing. The last they couldn't bend. The last they couldn't own. Oh wow. That silence? That's not peace. That's a setup. That's the sound before the world tilts against you. They ordered an arrest but never announced it. They wanted you to feel it instead. In the glances, in the whispers, in the sudden distance between people who used to smile at you yesterday. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange tension in the air, like everyone's waiting for something, waiting for you to break. Because they know the truth, that you're not guilty. No, that's not what scares them. What terrifies them is that you're awake. You see too clearly. You walk too straight. And in a world built on crooked lines, clarity is a threat. Yeah, that's your crime. You didn't bow, you didn't join their little circus, you didn't kneel when they demanded you do. And that kind of independence, oh, it rattles their cages. They don't know whether to fear you or erase you, so they do both. They call you unstable, obsessed, different. Words meant to brand, not to describe. But deep down, they know you're the one who can't be bought. And that makes you the final name on their silent list. They didn't need to drag you out in chains. They just needed to make the world look at you differently, because that's the new kind of arrest. Social, psychological, invisible. They don't put you in a cell anymore. They just turn the crowd against you and let the noise do the rest. Oh yeah, the noise, the endless noise of a world that wants submission more than truth. It's funny, isn't it? How they hide lies behind polite smiles, how they turn honesty into dangerous behavior. You see, you weren't just a target, You were a reminder that the ones who walk straight make the crooked nervous. The ones who think deeply make the shallow panic. And those who refuse to kneel make the weak invent crimes that never existed. That's why they never announced your arrest. They couldn't risk exposing their fear. They'd rather watch you drown in doubt than admit what you really are. Proof that courage still breathes. Oh, nah, they won't say it. They'll pretend it's nothing personal. But the truth? It's always personal when the honest one refuses to play along. Every shadow you see now, every glance that lingers too long, it's part of their quiet sentence. They want you isolated. They want you exhausted. They want you whispering to yourself, questioning your own clarity. Because when a person like you stands firm, it forces the world to ask hard questions about loyalty, about justice, about who's really pulling the strings. And that's their nightmare. You think they fear your hands? Your words? No. They fear your calm, your patience, your refusal to act on impulse, because you're not reacting, you're observing, calculating, waiting. That's what makes you dangerous. You don't shout, you don't beg, you don't explain. You simply exist with unshakable stillness. And that kind of control? Oh, it terrifies the ones who build empires on manipulation. But here's the twist. They made one mistake. They thought by keeping their order secret, they could control your narrative. They thought silence would break you. But silence became your weapon. Every day they hide your charges. You become harder to erase. Every hour they whisper your name. You grow sharper in their memory. Because when something is never announced, it becomes a rumor. And when it becomes a rumor, it spreads beyond their control. Now you stand at the edge of their illusion. The last suspect in a story they can't finish without exposing themselves. They stare, they scheme, they smile through their fear. They thought you'd crumble under accusation, not rise under it. Funny, isn't it? How they misjudge silence. They see it as surrender, when in truth, it's the calm before impact. You didn't react to their secret arrest. You studied it. You watched who flinched, who whispered, who pretended not to see. And that's when it all became clear. The real danger wasn't their order, it was their confidence. They believed you wouldn't see the strings. Oh wow, you saw every one of them. They built a story around you, polished it, rehearsed it. Every line, every lie, carefully placed. And yet, the cracks showed. Because falsehood always leaks under pressure. You notice the inconsistencies, the looks exchanged too quickly, the reports that arrived too conveniently. You started tracing patterns, didn't you? The way everything felt, staged. Yeah. They underestimated what happens when a person learns to read silence louder than speech. When you stop defending yourself and start decoding them, that's when the game shifts. Because now, you're not the hunted, you're the observer. And they can't stand being seen through. They wanted chaos in your head, confusion, panic, desperation. But instead, you gave them stillness, precision. You turned every doubt into data, every rumor into a clue. You played the long game, watching the hunters expose themselves one by one. They call it justice. You call it performance. A spectacle to distract from their own stains. They hide behind procedure, But you've seen the trembling hands signing those secret papers. You've seen the guilt they refuse to name. Oh yeah, they're afraid of you now. Not because you're loud, but because you're consistent. Because you didn't fall into rage. You chose clarity. You didn't act out, you waited out. You're proving that patience is the weapon they never learned to counter. But still, the pressure builds. They start to realize you're not confused, you're aware. You're walking freely in a system that wanted you contained. That unsettles them. Because a person who knows the truth and remains calm about it is unpredictable, and unpredictability breaks control. Oh nah. They hate that. They need predictable suspects, obedient minds, scripted responses. You gave them none. Instead, you walked with measured steps through their maze, quietly dismantling their illusion piece by piece. Now the silence they built around you has turned against them. Every secret they buried becomes a seed of doubt in their own ranks. Every lie they told about you now whispers back at them in the dark. That's how power collapses, not with an explosion, but with erosion. Slow, relentless, unstoppable. Because what they didn't understand is that your restraint isn't weakness, it's strategy. You've learned to turn their hidden war into your classroom. Every attack, every accusation, every silent threat taught you who they are. And knowing your enemy that deeply, that's liberation disguised as accusation. They ordered your arrest, but now they're the ones trapped inside their guilt, their schemes, their unspoken fear of what you'll expose next. And that's the truth. They can't face. The suspect became the mirror. The hunted became the historian. The accused became the one who remembers everything they tried to bury. They never wanted justice. They wanted silence dressed as order. You see it now, don't you? The reflection. The one they pretend not to notice when they look your way. Because the moment their eyes meet yours, they see themselves, stripped of excuses, stripped of masks. That's the part that burns them. Not your strength, your clarity. You reflect their corruption too perfectly. You remind them what it looks like to stand clean in a room full of compromise. Oh, wow. That's the real danger. Not the accusation, but the exposure. You became the mirror. They can't shatter without cutting themselves first. When they whispered your name in those dark corners, they didn't just spread a rumor, they spread fear. Every time your story was told, it made others start to wonder if they could do it to someone like you, who's next. That thought travels fast. Faster than truth, faster than lies. And now even their allies start to hesitate before obeying. Because reflection spreads like wildfire. And your calm, it's contagious. The way you carry yourself, unmoved, unbroken, it plants suspicion in every onlooker's heart. Maybe the accused isn't the problem. Maybe the accusers are. Yeah, that's when the silence breaks. Not through shouting, but through realization. You can almost feel it in the air, a slow, invisible rebellion of thought. People start to look closer. They notice the same patterns you did, the same contradictions, the same staged smiles. And the more they see, the weaker the illusion becomes. Because deceit only thrives when no one questions it. But once the first mind awakens, everything starts to crumble. You've become something they never prepared for, an example they can't erase, a reminder that endurance can be louder than revenge, that patience, sharpened by truth, can slice through deceit cleaner than any blade. Oh yeah, they hate that kind of strength. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself through chaos. They've studied people who fight, who scream, who burn out fast, but not someone like you. Someone who endures without surrender. Someone who carries fire inside but keeps it disciplined. Because that's what frightens them most. Not your defiance, but your self-control. You don't lash out. You don't crumble. You observe. And in that stillness, they lose control of the narrative. Their fear shows. Their words shake. Their plans start to contradict each other. Oh no. They never expected the suspect to turn into the witness. But that's what you are now. The last witness left in a system of liars. You've seen their faces, memorized their moves, studied their patterns. You know who's pretending, who's afraid, who's already planning an escape route. That's the paradox. They accused you to hide their flaws, but now every attempt to condemn you only reveals them more. They built this cage, and you turned it into a stage. Every wall they raise becomes your platform. Every shadow they cast only makes your outline clearer. And that's when they realize your silence wasn't submission, it was strategy. You've been teaching them without saying a word, teaching them that truth doesn't panic, that honor doesn't need to shout, that real strength doesn't announce itself. It simply endures until falsehood collapses under its own weight. Truth doesn't whisper forever. It waits, and then it erupts. And that's what's happening now, isn't it? The silence you wore like armor is starting to crack open, but not from weakness, from pressure, from truth, pressing against its limits, demanding release. For so long you've let them talk about you. You've watched them twist words, build stories, rewrite scenes. But now the mirror speaks back. Oh wow. The first words weren't loud. They didn't have to be. All it took was one clear statement, one calm revelation, and the whole room froze. You didn't even raise your voice. You just told the truth plainly. And suddenly, every mask in the room began to sweat, because when truth walks in, even quietly, deceit can't breathe. They weren't ready for that tone. Steady, patient, almost surgical. You didn't accuse, you didn't retaliate. You simply reflected what they tried to hide, and that's what made it sting. That's what broke them. Because falsehood can debate lies, but it can't argue with its own reflection. Yeah, that's the turning point. You see their faces changing now, not out of guilt, but out of recognition. They finally see what you've known all along. The problem was never you. It was what you revealed just by being consistent, by staying intact while they fell apart under their own deceit. Oh yeah, that's when power shifts. Quietly, subtly. Suddenly your presence feels heavier than their titles. You don't need a uniform, a badge, or an order. You've got something far more dangerous: credibility. The kind that can't be bought, forced, or rehearsed. It's built through endurance, through staying steady when everyone else wavers. You're not fighting them anymore. You're exposing them by existing. Every word you speak now cuts cleaner than any accusation they ever tried to frame you with. Because your calm doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from knowledge, from clarity, sharpened through patience. Oh nah, they can't contain this anymore. The narrative they crafted begins to collapse from inside out. One lie contradicts another. One supporter hesitates. One command goes unanswered. You can feel the system starting to fracture, not because you attacked it, but because you outlasted it. This is the moment where they realize something terrifying. Their control depended on your silence. The moment you spoke, the illusion began to dissolve. Every secret they hid under layers of deceit is now trembling on the edge of exposure. Because truth, once awakened, doesn't stop halfway. It wants everything uncovered. And the more you speak, the less they can hide. Each sentence you utter is a light aimed directly at their shadows. You're not shouting anymore, you're revealing. That's far worse for them. A loud rebel they can dismiss, but a quiet truth teller? That's unstoppable. Yeah? You were never the villain. You were the mirror. The reflection that made their lies flinch. The calm that survived every accusation. The one who didn't need revenge to prove victory. Because sometimes, the loudest justice is stillness. The kind that doesn't shout, it just outlasts. So if you're still here, watching, listening, feeling this, then you're part of that rare few who don't look away when truth gets uncomfortable. You're the reason this message even matters. You're not the audience. You're the proof that honesty still breathes in a world addicted to pretending. Drop your mark in the comments. Say it loud. I see what they hide. Let them know you're awake, aware, and unshaken. This isn't just a video. This is a movement disguised as a monologue. A reminder that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy.